Good afternoon and welcome to my latest video, and it's Andrew Edge here in Cheshire Northwest branch for Reform UK. I'm bringing you this story because obviously it's a story the Daily Mail have published 2 days ago. It was brought to me, and obviously it's one that actually resonate with obviously myself, and obviously a few stories I have actually brought to live streams in the past. And obviously, normally, obviously, I don't go by what the Daily Mail says, but obviously, this one actually seems to be they've done the research and everything, and it all is all in order. So, without further ado, let's go through it. So, this is a migrant who lived as a tourist in three European countries before he illegally entered the UK, where he raped a 15-year-old girl. So, obviously, just let that sink in. And then obviously the small boat migrant who raped the 15-year-old girl after claiming asylum in the UK has lived as a tourist in three European cities before arriving in the UK. So why didn't he stay in any of those three European cities first? Think about that one. Sadiq Negzed, 29, travelled 4,000 miles from his native Afghanistan to reach the UK. Yet a Daily Mail investigation reveals how he travelled through at least three safe countries. This is where it gets my gripe. Gets me a bit harriated because obviously, as I've pointed out several times, they're supposed to settle in the first place, not just come all the way to Great Britain to take us for a fool, because this is what he's doing. Oh, but he'll go touring around Europe on his jollies and then come here and take us for a fool and then do what he's done. It really annoys me. And then, as a tourist, before arriving in Falkirk, Stirlingshire, where he attacked the schoolgirl yards from his migrant hostel, which he should never have been at. He was jailed for 9 years for rape. But then this is where it gets worse. The attack sent shockwaves across Scotland and prompted the country's first angry protest against asylum hotels. So this was the first one before all the others. Extraordinary images suggest Nixad's trip through Italy, Germany and France before arriving on British soil was more of a luxury tourist adventure rather than a flight to flee persecution or danger. So think about that. He was not coming here for anything other. He was just coming here to fleece the taxpayer. The social media images show the migrant posing gleefully outside some of the world's most famous landmarks, including Rome's Colosseum, Cologne Cathedral, as he made his way to the UK to claim refuge, and one picture shows him sporting a North Face puffer jacket with more than £300 and smiling in front of the Eiffel Tower in Paris as the sun sets. I'll quickly show you those images because they're at the bottom. There's that three-piece suit, puffer jacket, sunset. It's a joke. Obviously, this is how he made his journey. So obviously, Afghanistan, he started out on April 30th, 2020, went all the way to Turin, November 11th, 2020, and then Rome, November 24th, 2020, then all the way to Cologne, October 10th, 2020, before departing to Paris for the 4th to 5th, 2022, and then he went to Basingstoke December 15, 2022, before settling in Falkirk December 29th, 2022. Oh, and doesn't he look cozy there, all smart and cushy, relaxing in that nice smart chair in the Cladian Hotel Falkirk, which holds up to 50 other illegal migrants. Could not call them refugees because they're not. Another shows that upon arrival in the UK, a small boat, he stopped off at a shopping centre in Basingstoke, Hampshire, where he duly uploaded a post of him wearing the three-piece suit, which is, I'll show you that photo. That's that one. Wait, Obviously had plenty of cash to go spoiling himself on that. Sickening. Not many people can just afford to do that. And chillingly, his flamboyant social media posts have then been met by encouragement from his friends and family back home with comments such as, "Oh, good job, God bless." Also, it's kind of showing he's there to fleece us taxpayers again, as I said before. In June, Nick said, who was sentenced to 9 years behind bars for rape at the High Court in Livingston, will serve a further 3 years on licence. I'm sorry, no, should serve the full 9 years. His lawyer claimed he has not been educated about significant culture differences in the UK and Afghanistan, where child marriage is prevalent. I'm sorry, I don't care. You serve the full 9 years or deportation. That shouldn't come into being in this country because obviously you can't claim cultural differences. Otherwise, once one does, they all do. And it's a joke, basically. Now, new details of the Grapist luxury journey to the UK have prompted fresh concerns about Britain's embattled asylum system. Yeah, we know it's broken beyond repair. It comes after last week revealed a record 111,000 migrants have sought asylum in the UK since Keir Starmer won power, so it's a record-breaking time, with the highest number ever now staying in Scots hotels. No surprise. And Shadow Home Secretary Chris Phillips said Keir Starmer's loss of border control, a public safety crisis, especially for women and girls. Correct. He said this is a sickening case of an illegal immigrant from Afghanistan raping a 15-year-old girl and then trying to blame his appalling crime on cultural differences. Correct, because you can't go blaming it on that. He added, it's especially galling that he travelled through multiple safe countries where he could have easily claimed asylum if he really needed to. Men with Afghan nationality are around 20 times more likely to commit sex offences, so the case is tragically not an isolated one. Correct. People finally using the correct figures, not just going, oh, but British men are just as likely. But these come from a place where they naturally do it day by day by day, and they can't just come into here and just do it to all our British women. That's sickening. The appalling man arrived illegally by small boat, because yes, small boat is illegal, and this year so far has seen the highest number of arrivals who are mainly men aged under 40. Correct. Because they are mainly men. But people go, oh, there's a lot of kids. There's not kids. Because places here in Cheshire, they've upped the age to 25 to class them as kids, which is illegal. Chair of Migration Watch Alp, Mehep, said the immigration asylum system is shattered beyond repair. Correct. It must be replaced quickly with one that protects our girls and women from lying scumbags like Nick said. I agree with that comment. I know people say it's a bit harsh, but it's right. And Scottish Tory community safety spokeswoman Sharon Dowie said people will be appalled at how this is now convicted rapist was able to brazenly make his way illegally across Europe. He shouldn't have been. He should have been stopped at the first bit, but he wasn't. They will also be sickened by the images of him enjoying himself at world-renowned attractions before coming to the UK. I definitely am, because he should never have been allowed entry. Nick said's native Afghanistan was the second highest country of origin of UK asylum claims by year end in June 2025. I'm not shocked by that. Since October 2021, 32,970 Afghans have claimed asylum here. To be eligible for asylum in their home office states, you must have left your country and be unable to go back because of fear of persecution. But then if it's because you've committed a crime there, I don't agree with that. Because if you've physically gone out of your way to do something physically illegal under their law and they want to persecute you for it, we shouldn't have the right to house you here and keep you alive. That's not how it works. Because obviously then we've got a criminal in the country. It was last week confirmed that there are currently 6,107 people bidding for refugee status in Scotland, double the number a decade ago. I wonder why that is, because they're just letting them all in. Afghanistan, which has taken over the Taliban in 2021, has been dogged by conflict, humanitarian crisis, economic challenges, as we all know that. And then obviously, Niksad was jailed for rape in June this year after attacking the Scottish girl in October 2023. Yes, it was 2 years ago, so it's taken 2 years to physically convict him. Oh, but Lucy Connolly you can convict in a week or so. It just does, it's two-tier justice, isn't it? You get an image uploaded of Nixad's Instagram page in April 2020. Appears to show he had a great admiration for the country as he pictured standing amid mountains wearing traditional dress with his hands raised to the skies. 7 months later, it appears his journey to the UK had begun after he shared a snap of more than 3,000 miles away in Europe outside the Royal Palace of Turin, Italy. On November 24th, 2020, he shared a photo of him posing in jeans and a puffer coat outside the Colosseum of Rome, which is the photo I showed you earlier. Between time and the autumn 2021, Nick had uploaded a raft of other pictures taken at spots around Italy wearing smart clothes such as Nike trainers and Nike tracksuits. He enjoyed boat trips in the sun and even went to Sicily for a period. The social media images by 2021 also appears had inched closer to the UK by travelling north to Cologne in Germany. One image shows him standing proudly outside the famous Cologne Cathedral, wearing his North Face coat and Nike trainers and shades. In another outside the Cologne Central Mosque, he wore leather loafers and skinny jeans. So obviously that's the sporting Doc Martens shoes, North Face cap. Nick posed outside the Montreux station in Marseille, France. Then you've got that's the sunset with the Eiffel Tower. Because he is then believed to have tracked through France, where he visited Marseille, the south and on to Paris. There he visited the famous shopping street, the Champs-Élysées, sharing a picture of himself, which showed it lit up Arc de Triomphe in the distance. Nick said also took a number of pictures of himself in front of the Eiffel Tower, one on the banks of the Seine and the other from a vantage point high up over the city. According to the High Court in Livingston, Nick said entered the UK illegally on a small boat. Correct wording. His intention was to settle here as an asylum seeker with access to taxpayer funded accommodation. I don't agree with all that. Benefits and NHS healthcare. Shouldn't have got any of that because he didn't deserve to be here. He is believed to have stayed in England for a period, as the image uploaded in December 2022 shows the migrant posing in a three-piece suit in Basingstoke, Hampshire, inside a Festival Place shopping centre. Images suggest he was later housed by the Home Office in Cladden Hotel in Falkirk. He updated his social media followers with a number of images of him lounging in establishments, plush leather chairs, and taking in the town. His other asylum seekers' presence in the area went largely unnoticed until October 2023, when Nick had approached the 15-year-old girl near the local pub and proceeded to brutally rape her in broad daylight. So that's the audacity of them. They'll just do it in broad daylight. I'm sorry. He deserves to rot in a jail for the rest of his life because he's not going to learn from it because he's just going to come out and do it again. He was convicted of rape by the High Jury Court in Edinburgh after they heard how he went up to the girl and asked her for a phone number and whether she had a boyfriend. He made sexual remarks towards the underage youngster before leading her to the rear of the Courtyard pub and attacking her. Nick's defense counsel Janice Green told an earlier hearing that her client had not been educated about significant cultural difference, but that should not matter between the UK and Afghanistan. It shouldn't be in there at all. She highlighted the cultural barrier between his home country and Scotland in the sense that child marriage was prevalent in Afghanistan, but why is that even counted? In particular, in poor regions in the north, child marriage is nearly 50%. But again, it's not in the UK, so you shouldn't even put it into the case. She said Niczad, who lived in various locations in the UK since age of 25, had applied for asylum, but his claim had lapsed since remand in custody. Passing sentence Judge Maurice Casey told the accused, I appreciate that you don't accept you've done anything wrong, but the fact remains you've been convicted of an extremely serious sexual offence, and I know your counsel has now explained to you, circumstances are only substantial. It's just pathetic. And the judge was forced to hurriedly leave the bench, as Nick said, screaming and gesticulating wildly, repeatedly shouted that he was a liar before being led to the cells. Oh, so the judge is a liar. I'm sorry, no, he's not. He should just go down for life. Niczad will serve the 9 years in custody, following by 3 years on license. It's a joke. Deport him back to his home country and just let whatever happens happen to him. Angry protests in Falkirk around the Claddon Asylum Hotel saw another suspect resident, Saif Aref Agid, trying to be arrested and charged with intentionally exposing himself in a sexual manner to another person with the intention that he was another person will see them without that person's consent on August 16th. See, it's constant, these cases. Greed was released on bail. I wouldn't release them on bail. They should stay in jail. This is ridiculous. And obviously, it's constant, these cases now coming out. I would just get them deported back to home country. So that's that story I wanted to cover with you guys. I know it's a bit of a long one, but obviously, please drop me a line in the comments because I shall want your opinion on this one, because obviously, this is what I've been trying to make a point of in some of my live streams. And obviously, I do feel for it. I feel for the young girl, because she's now got to live with this, and obviously, and to any other young girl, woman who's been affected by this sort of thing, this craziness needs to stop, and it needs to stop right now. I know Farage has got his stuff coming out tomorrow, and this is why we need to go into power as soon as possible. Well, again, thanks for watching. Andrew Edge out, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Goodbye.